but to do with Marine and Coast Guard agencies' regulations, we have to give you a short, quick safety announcement. We are fully licensed to carry 350 passengers. Emergency exits are clearly marked in green. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please do not panic, please remain calm and listen to orders given to you by a crew member. So the captain's turning the boat around to make our way down the river. We also have got a coffee bar at the back, and the ladies and gents toilets are also at the back of the boat as well. Now over here to our left-hand side is Westminster Road Bridge. It's the only bridge on the River Thames with 7 arches that's called working arches. That means that boats and vessels can use all 7 arches. Over to our left as well beyond that is the Palace of Westminster. You know it as the Houses of Parliament. The name of it is the Palace of Westminster. Now the tall tower at the upper end with the flag on is known as the Victorian Tower. This is where all ballot papers are kept for 1 year and 1 day after an election before being destroyed. This end, you will see the famous clock tower. People know it as Big Ben. The actual name of it is St Stephenson's Clock Tower. It's only the bell that hangs inside that is called a Big Ben, named after the man who worked in the bell foundry, Sir Benjamin Hall. It was only 4'6" tall, so they give it the name of Big Ben. Now just ahead of us, to the left-hand side, there's a monument with a gold eagle on the top. This is to commemorate all the ladies and gentlemen that lost their lives in the First and Second World War of the Royal Air Force. The eagle weighs over 3 tons in weight and is covered in gold leaf, and the beak of that eagle points towards the beaches of France and Normandy. And over directly to our right is the famous London Eye. First known as the Millennium Wheel, it was built by British Airways for Millennium celebrations and was only supposed to be here for 2 years. But it is now one of the most biggest tourist attractions in London. It takes 45 minutes to go around in a complete circle, and on a clear day at the top you can see 26 miles in all directions. Now back over to our left, just ahead of us, beyond the trees, you'll see the building that looks like a princess castle. This is known as Whitehall Court Mansions. This used to be home for the Liberal Democrats. It is now home of the Liberal Democrats and also office space as well. If you go down into the basement of this building, there's secret passageways that leads right the way to the Palace of Westminster. If they have got to evacuate that very, very quickly, they all go down in the basement and there's passageways that brings them up 400 yards ahead, completely out of way of all danger. Now ahead of us, the first bridge we're going to go beneath is the Charing Cross Railway Bridge. And these footbridges are now known as the Queen's Jubilee Bridges. These were built for the Golden Jubilee. As we do get to the other side of Charing Cross Railway Bridge, if you look to the right-hand shore, you will see a concrete-roof building with a sign on the front saying Royal Festival Hall. This is the only remaining building of the Festival of Great Britain of 1951. The festival actually ran from here right the way upriver to Battersea, near Battersea Power Station, which is nearly 4 miles in length. It was Conservatives who actually done the Festival of Great Britain. In 9 months there was over 250,000 visitors. But Conservatives lost the battle and Labour got in. When Labour got in, they demolished everything because they wanted nothing left of the Conservative government. It was only this one building that remains of the Festival of Great Britain. Now over to our left you will see a granite stone obelisk, Cleopatra's Needle. It was given to us by the grateful Egyptians for Battle of the Nile and defeat of Napoleon. It is over 3,700 years old. It stood on the banks of Alexandria. But if you look to the base of it, you'll see the 2 sphinxes. What's wrong about those is they're admiring it and not guarding it. It was 26 years before Queen Victoria noticed they were stood long way round. And she said, after all this time, we will leave them like that, admiring it instead of guarding it. If you do visit Cleopatra's Needle, you will see around the bottom of the base, you will see lumps and holes all around the base of it. This is from shells and that from the bombing of the Second World War, which a lot of London was destroyed, as people do know. Now the bridge ahead of us, this is the Waterloo Road Bridge, known as the Ladies' Bridge. It was built with nearly 90% female labour during the Second World War, as all our men was fighting. But the ladies put on the face of it is a self-cleansing Portland stone. When we have rain, it cleanses itself. If you look to the other side of the bridge, the rain cannot penetrate, and you can see it's become polluted. Now over to our right-hand side, we've got this concrete structure. Now this was voted by Prince Charles as the most ugliest building in London. He said it represents the back of a power station. But if you do go inside of it, this is the Royal National Theatre. It's got some of the best acoustics anywhere in the world. And believe it or not, it has now got a preservation on it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the River Thames you're travelling on is over 280 miles long. It starts as a little stream up in Gloucestershire, and it goes right the way down to the Thames estuary. Now, the rise and fall of the tide is anything up to 10 metres every day. That's 30 feet to 33 feet rise and fall. We're actually getting near low tide now, that's why you can see the beaches. But when the tide comes in, it comes above the green lines on each side. Why the Thames actually looks so dirty is because it's a mud and silt-based river. The tide travels in between 3 to 5 knots, churning the mud and silt over, making it look so murky. If you take a glass of Thames water, leave it to stand for 15 to 20 minutes, when the mud and silt settles, it is absolutely crystal clear. It is the cleanest commercial river anywhere in Western Europe. We have over 200 species of fish, including salmon, trout, the Chinese claw crab. We get porpoises come up, which is in relation to the dolphin, and we've also got a sea lion that has been going up roughly from Greenwich up to Tower for the last 2 years, living here on the River Thames. Directly over to your left is a stone archway. This is known as Temple Arch. This is telling you we are leaving the city of Westminster and we're entering the city of London. The city of London is one of the smallest cities in the world. It only comprises of 1 square mile. And that's got over 10 million people working there every single day. Now, just ahead of us to the right-hand side, there's a red brick building with a small tower on the top. If you look at the 3 windows, it says OXO. That's OXO. OXO is a small bistro cube we actually make our gravy with. It was completely illegal to advertise anywhere on the banks of the River Thames. So this used to be a factory. When they built it, they put the OXO in there and said it was just windows. And it's light up red in the evening, not breaking any of the regulations and laws. But now there is a 5-star restaurant at the top and the rest of it is apartments. And also, next door to Oxo Tower is the world's largest photograph anywhere of the royal family. It's hanging on the front of Sea Container's house. This is actually a picture of the 1977 Silver Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth and her family. This should be here for the rest of the summer. Now, just ahead of us, to the left-hand side, you will see the Gothic style red bricks building. This is actually now a private library. This has got the own personal Bible of Queen Victoria and also personal notes by William Shakespeare. And next door to this, the building with the archways with a green roof. This is the old City London School for Boys. This is actually where Winston Churchill actually went to school. This was actually a city within, this was a school within the City of London. And the building on the corner here to our left with the circular, with all the columns, this is known as Unilever House. This is the headquarters of the giant soap and detergent manufacturers. Now ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, there's a group of 3 bridges. Well, there's actually only 2 bridges remaining. The first bridge is the Blackfriars Road Bridge. This was named Blackfriars in commemoration of the monastery that used to stand to our left-hand shore. As we get in between these bridges, there's the road bridge, then there's a rail bridge. You will see 8 red columns. This is all what remains of the original St Paul's Railway Bridge during the London to Dover and Chatham Railway line, designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel. The top span of it was actually demolished when it became unsafe. The bridge was known as the Alexandria Bridge. Now, Queen Victoria called it the Alexandria Bridge after her favourite granddaughter, Princess Alexandria. She married the Tsar of Russia and was sadly executed with the Russian Tsars. And we're now beneath the Blackfriars Railway Bridge. Ahead of us to the left-hand side and dominating the skyline, Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece, St Paul's Cathedral, 35 years to complete. It stands 365 feet high. That is 1 foot for every day of the year. The dome is the world's second largest unsupported dome to the Vatican in Rome. If you go up there, you've got the Whispering Gallery. Now, you can stand one side and have one person standing the other side, and you've only got to whisper slightly, and it travels all the way round and will come back to you, and you can hear a pitch perfect clip. Now, over to the right-hand side, this brick structure with a tall chimney is the old Bankside Power Station. It is now the Tate Modern Gallery, and they've got a special exhibition on of Damien Hirst, if you want to go and see half a cow cutting up, stuck in jelly, and they call this art. And ahead of us, the passenger bridge, called the Millennium Footbridge. When it was first opened, it got the nickname of the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge because it wibbled and wobbled and people couldn't stand up on it. They had to shut it down for 12 months before they had to redesign and reweight it. But as you go to over to the left-hand shore, those stairs at the end that goes up to St Paul's Cathedral, these are known as the Paternoster Stairs. If anyone's ever seen the film Mary Poppins and the song Feed the Birds, it was actually filmed on there, and that is where the lady actually stood while they was doing the filming. And over to our right is an exact replica of William Shakespeare's Globe Playhouse Theatre. It was the dream of the famous film producer Sam Wanamaker. They said he went bankrupt halfway through building it. Before he completed his dream, he actually died. But his daughter took on the project, and it is now open and an open-air open-air playhouse. His daughter is the famous Shakespearean actor and television actress Zoe Wanamaker. Now the bridge ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, this is known as the Suffolk Road Bridge. It was opened in 1926. It is the least used road bridge anywhere on the River Thames. Due to all the new one-way systems and the roads and the twists and turns, a lot of people pass the bridge before they even realise they are actually there. And this is still the least used road and traffic bridge anywhere on the bank of the River Thames. But as we do get to the other side of Suffolk Road Bridge, if you look ahead and up to your left-hand side, you will see 2 yellow brick Victorian towers. This is all what remains of the original Cannon Street railway station. Before the Second World War, it used to have a beautiful crystal glass dome in between it. In the outbreak of war, the government said take it down piece by piece, and they shipped it out to a warehouse in Kent. Now, the station during the Second World War never took a hit at all, but the warehouse in Kent took a direct hit, destroying every part of the glass dome. Over to the right-hand side, the Anglo Bankside pub. Now, the original Globe Theatre only used to stand 100 metres away from here. William Shakespeare used to use this as changing rooms. It is still open to the public, and it is a beautiful public house to visit. We are now beneath the Cannon Street Railway Bridge. Over to our right-hand side.